We can think of technologies as the most basic of items, such as fire, or the wheel, or clothing, or the domestication of animals. Technology can also be very modern, too, and for example, you might think in terms of the biotech industry that's extending human abilities and also human life. Technology basically refers to tools that we can use to accomplish certain tasks. We'll talk a little bit about how the automobile and the microchip have been game changers in our social lives. The invention and mass production of the automobile allowed for cleaner and easier travel than the horse and buggy. People also had the ability to now live in the suburbs and commute to work in the city, and our demographics shifted from a rural and urban type of distribution to a rural, suburban, and urban population distribution. Geographically, our public and private areas are built to accommodate automobiles. We have roads, parking lots, parking garages, and that would be both public and residential garages, and even drive-up windows where we can do our banking, order food, or even buy cigarettes and alcohol at the drive-up window. Another very interesting impact of the automobile that we don't often think about is that it changed the way we selected our mates. We moved from a courtship society where parents and older brothers often watched and chaperoned the activities, to selecting mates through dating. By the 1920s, couples were able to go on dates where they had the freedom and the autonomy that the automobile provided. The automobile changed women's domestic lives too. Prior to the automobile, groceries were ordered and delivered. The creation of the grocery store as a self-service shopping place where someone goes to pick out the items they want and then takes them home with them was a direct result of the adoption of the automobile for everyday travel. While the automobile required some skill to operate, taking it to town was much easier than harnessing a horse and hitching up a wagon and then driving the horse and carriage to town. Parking took up less space too, as a horse and buggy are almost twice the length of a car. The home garden was also a dispensable chore. If one could get fresh or canned vegetables at the market, one didn't have to grow their own vegetables. You can see how the automobile changed many of our social roles and social arrangements. Your text author also discusses the social transformation that has occurred due to the microchip. The microchip and its use in computers has transformed the way in which we access information and how we learn. Not only does the internet allow us instant access to huge volumes of information, but we're now moving more and more to a realm of distance education, where learning takes place remotely. The microchip has created social media and has changed how we interact with society. And computers are used extensively in business and commerce. Billions of dollars are moved internationally via electronic transactions. Even in retail, the vast majority of financial transactions are done electronically. Computers also track inventory, controlling ordering and restocking. Computers are essential to national security and defense as well, and computers themselves can be subjected to attack, ensuing cyber wars and the need for cyber defense. Computers have changed the world around us and how we do our social relationships. Technology also changes how production is done. Prior to the Industrial Revolution, many items were craft-based, meaning that a craftsman produced one item. That person worked on creating that item from start to finish and took pride in the final product. Once factories took on the means of production, efficiencies in production dictated that items were created through an assembly system. Each worker did just one specific task as the item moved down a conveyor belt. The use of power, at first steam and then later electricity, drove the development of the factories, and thus the person working on production, in other words the worker, no longer owned the means of production. Instead, the factory was owned by an individual or a group of individuals. The new means of production changed social ideologies as the ideology of capitalism emerged and then drove the Protestant ethic towards work. And changes in consumption occurred as this serves a capitalistic society. The more goods people buy, the more profit the production owners make. Conspicuous consumption refers to the need to display one's status with expensive items, luxurious accommodations, and expensive grooming habits. Technology also changed family relationships. Fathers that travel to factories to work every day became more estranged from their families. But now telecommuting may be helping to abate that effect.